Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Bien? ¿Bien? Ah, sí, sí. Good, good. Okay. So now we're getting into okay, so the last video, um, I discussed about keeping money separate. I discussed about why people who hobby and collect versus people that hobby and sell. So the two differences. And I went more into hobby for those who don't sell and how you really should think about saving money versus the people who have the 9 to 5 and they do the um side hobby and sell stuff because obviously they're going to have more money than the people that are otherwise. Right. Right. Thank you. Whoever answered, thank you. Okay, so now that we've touched that, if you want to go back and watch it, you can. It's a little bit longer because I was really going into it. So video 9 is we're going to have to remember as we're going along, we are going to start to get into the thick of things. And once we start getting into the thick of things, it's going to get so wild, so rambunctious. Like you are going to constantly be on your phone. When years ago, okay, this is going to age me, but a lot of you know that my age. Um, so I Okay, so here's the essentials. Understand this. I went through a 10-year relationship. Um, I ended up in that relationship because of my first business. It's a long story. Essentially, I was making my own money. Things were good. Everything was great. And then I was told, like, hey, you might want to get a real job and so you could do more. Mind you, I want you guys to understand because don't ever let anybody put you down. In my real job, I got after that comment, I was making less every 2 weeks getting paid paycheck than I was making every week by what I was doing. So I when I first started, mind you, I'm like in between other things as well. I started about 16, 17. I worked as a librarian's assistant in my younger brother's school, so I went there too. But I started out as a library's assistant, so I could be there. So when school ended at the end of the day, I could just, come on, buddy, let's go. And then so we'd walk home together. Um, so that was that, right? And then so I started, computers coming in now and here's AOL. So that's I was able to like figure out how to do that and that was a lot of fun. So um but like I said to you, having that experience was amazing because none of my clientele was here in the US. Everybody was in like my one was Sweden. I forget where the other few were, but everybody was spread out in other countries, cross seas. And shipping was a lot different then. It was a lot cheaper than it is now. But I also got a break from my local post office because I was using certain business advantages to send this stuff. So it was just a lot cheaper for me. But once things picked up, I was in like the $700 and $800 bracket every week. So so I was doing really darn good for a 16-year-old back in that time. So that was just like holy crap, that was great. Um I was able to so my parents they got a newer computer. They got one that worked for like it was a family computer, but it was amazing. Um, then they got us a printer, and it was like one of those old school printer copiers. So they got us one of those. When I tell you, like they prepared for, because my mom, I took after my mom. She in school she took stenography, and she took like administrative classes, and that's what I ended up doing. Even though I wanted to go into something else, I tell you what, God prepared me for what I was doing, because as a diesel mechanic, I don't think I would have been able to come home and type like how many words per minute, and you know what I'm saying? You get where, and my dad had always told us, always have a backup plan, always have something where you have a backup. Don't leave yourself short and just be like one-sided. You have no idea what's going on. You're just like a square. I don't know. I don't know how to put it. So that that took me down that process. That took me down that road. And then so yeah, so I did that for a few years. Then I got a job at Cinnabon, and I kind of set that job aside. And then once I started working with my brother at Cinnabon, then I was picked up by Super Software Babbage's. I was picked up by them. Then I met like my best friend. I gotta call him. So there was that. Then I went back to doing what I was doing. Now at this point, I'm kind of like slowing down in working from home, like with my hobby. And so I'm still making things and still putting things out because I'm still getting requests for a lot of stuff. So then I go into beaded jewelry and all that other fun stuff. I do still have stuff here. I'll have to find it. I have it all put away, so I'll show you guys though. But that's neither here nor there. So essentially, I was making good money in both spots. Now this is when me and my younger brother, we were Comic Cons all over. We were, you know, anime conventions. We were like just all over the place. And then my really good friend Jordan was he was from Jerusalem, and he was selling these like Japanese import export kind of DVDs and everything. Like, oh my god, I got Cash Earn. If y'all know that's Gotcha Man, GeForce. Um like, this is where my hobby started to pick up from teenage stage. Like, oh my god, where I worked in the mall, I would pass him all the time. We got so close. We would like buy each other lunch, and like I would sit at his cart and like, go through the movies. He would open one up and like, here, this is this movie. So I was already in the state of mind of the importance of what I was doing. And then I was like, I'm going to have to save up for different things. Tablets weren't a thing then. Cell phones weren't really, it wasn't that big of a deal. So now I get a little bit older and life is changing. I move my business up. I now am locally doing baskets. And so I pick up on that field. And now I'm doing that along with still sort of mailing to whoever clientele is left that I'm still communicating with. And that was that. And I had joined an LGBTQ plus community online, and they would do like a lot of different charities and stuff like that. So sometimes they would just buy stuff for from me for their charities overseas. So that was cool. And so I was still making money out of that. And then we changed internet service as like things progressed, and I kept all of the communications with them, but they were all graduating uni, like university uni. And so like they were all getting away from being able to use the computers all the time. So that was that. So things progressed. I then made my way, after the comment was made my way into Home Depot, and then I started making less. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I was still, at this point, I was making baskets, I was doing candles and soaps. I sucked at the candles. My cousin is absolutely amazing at candles. So we were doing flea markets and stuff when I had free time from Home Depot. And so that was good. But then like things just kind of, after Home Depot, it changed, and then I was just straight up just baskets and soaps and jewelry. So that's what I was doing. I was no longer doing throw pillows that were scented, like nothing like that. And so like that just extreme change was now Now when everything happened, I'm out of this 10-year relationship. I'm like fragile, my feelings, like I'm just like hurt back home with mom and dad, my brother. Now I am officially on to like business mind. My best friend, who I met in software, etc., calls me up and was like, dude, get off the couch. Stop crying. It's your birthday. Let's go celebrate. And so he has always been really successful at life. So he's a DeVry graduate. So when he's back here in America's, like, we just chill. And so he's like, come on, dude. He's like, let's do this. So I spent the weekend at his house. I was really upset because I didn't get to, at the time, that's when he first started dating as his one, who is now his wife, girlfriend. And I was so excited to get to meet her, but she wasn't there. So I was like, dang it. But it was just like, maybe next time, but not meet her, but chill with the two of them for the weekend, because I'd already met her and I fell in love with her. She's so sweet. So like it was just like one of those things where like he was like, dude, what are you doing? You're like one of the most oddball, like you're just you. And so my nickname from him is Aishi. So he's like, Aishi, just get your together. Just get it together. Stop. Don't fall apart. And I was like, okay. He's like, you're so confident. You're always, he's like, I come to you for advice. You're like my older sister. Like, come on, dude. And that picked me up. So I started in the newer business where I was taking everything I was doing with the baskets seriously. Off of these baskets, one basket alone that I was making, one basket alone brought me $600. One basket. And mind you, at this point, business was good because I was making at when I was the end term of like the relationship, I was making like 5 6 baskets per person per week. So there was money in it, money to be made. And I would decorate and make like, so if you say it's your anniversary, I send you an order sheet, and on that order sheet it has everything on there, like what allergens, what they're allergic to, and favorite items, favorite colors, favorite animal. Like go through it. Do they drink coffee or tea? And I'd pack all that stuff in a basket, and it was so lucrative. It was awesome. It was awesome. But you know what? Out of all of that, out of everything, the funniest haha to this whole story, now that I think about it, I was doing this all when there was no such thing as like crazy electronics, because I didn't actually bust into electronics until after that. And that was the funniest thing, because this video was specifically telling you, but I need to give you a backstory. Is I'm doing this all without a crazy cell phone. I'm doing this without, at one point, without a computer, without a tablet, without, a laptop. It's just me, just one person, just me, just doing it all. And wow, I just, it just sunk in. It hit me at the end of my rant on it's kind of impossible to do that now. It really is. But the moral of this story is, damn, you never really know how strong you are without that stuff until you have to do it, I guess. But yeah, no, the moral of the story was I told you in the beginning what I worked with, and that's all I had. That's all I was working with to get here at point B. And point B is we all have those electronics now. But what I was going to say is, most importantly, make sure to have your electronics. But now you got a backstory. And now today, get yourself a better phone. I had, but to tell you guys what I did have, it was a Samsung Galaxy Note when they first appeared, when they were the size of the notebooks. Legit. That's what I had. At the very, very end of when I was switching life over, that's what I ended up with. Well, guys, there's your lesson. There's your lesson. Believe in yourself, and the rest will eventually catch up with you. Maybe by the time you start now and then you get to the finish line, maybe there'll be flying cars or even GTA 6. Who knows? Anyway, that was a good video. Thanks, guys. Bye.